In this clip, we'll paint more specific wood grain details. So now we have this basic wood laid out. We could stop here. I mean, we really could. This isn't bad at all. But if you want to go more detailed, here's how I like to layer it on. First, you want to get in a little closer. And then I like to do a little bit like we did in the robot where we highlight edges. In this case, it's not actual geometry edges, but it is the edges that we're trying to create the illusion of with our painting. So here, I have my wood grain, these grooves in the wood, and I want to look at them and think of them in terms of having a little bit more depth in these edges, at the edges of these grooves, being beveled and maybe a little worn and smoother and catching the light. So I would come in and I'd see a crack like this and then just give myself a lighter color and just start to work around those edges. And if it's too bright or too much, just bring my flow down a bit, bring my size up just a touch, and just paint. Now you kind of want to do the same thing where you stay on one side to give more the illusion of that light direction. But just to highlight the edge of that, and let's go ahead and do the same thing over on this one. There we go. Let's do a few of these and then we'll just kind of see how it looks when we pull out. And here I've got this lighter one, so let's go ahead. We'll just bring this up just a little brighter even, just to stay in contrast with what's already there. There we go. Let's zoom out a little and see how that looks. Now it's subtle, but it just adds another layer of detail that lets you get just a little bit closer without the illusion breaking down, I think. And it's totally up to you if this is a level of detail you want to go to. It may be too much for your purposes, and that's fine. You could stop at our last pass that we just did there, and I don't think anybody would think less of it. But it just depends on what you're trying to match and what the level of detail you're trying to hold up to is. Now in our case, we did quite a bit of detail on the robot, so I'd like this to have as much so that it doesn't stand out in contrast too bad. So I'm going to go ahead and finish this off, although I won't make you watch all of it. But there is one more technique that I like to use on wood like this that I think is worth doing regardless of the level of detail. And that is, let's go ahead and make another layer here. We'll call this wood shades. And what I'd like to do here is take a variety of colors or values, and we'll start with something a little bit darker. And let's make our brush a bit bigger, quite a bit bigger. And what I'd like to do is look at these and see, okay, there is a path, kind of a flat area here between these different cracks. And to go in and try and fill the cracks in with that darker or lighter even color. Just to make these stand out. Let's see, let's go in here. I'm actually going to put this in multiply just so we're for sure. There we go. I'll just bring this down so you can kind of see it a little better. And just carefully try and stay in the lines, if you will. And come right down there, and just to break up these different panels, make them stand out from each other. Like this section here, we're just going to darken just the inside of that. Same with this area here. Bring that on down a little. Let's do that with this edge area. Like I said, try and stay within the lines so it gives these definite patches of lighter and darker. And this one here is probably going to be too specific and dark. So I'll just go ahead and grab our eraser, bring our flow down and under pressure sensitivity, and just kind of ease off on that one. There we go. So you can kind of see how already this feels like there's more life to it, more detail than what we've got over here. It's just a subtle thing, but it enhances those cracks and makes the wood feel like it's not so evenly worn. And those are the two techniques that I like to use when I want to add just that little bit of extra oomph, and I think you can extrapolate from those and take that detail as far as you want. You can, if you want to paint every millimeter of this with a little piece of wood, go for it. But eventually you do hit a point where it just becomes a bit too much and you'll lose that painterly feel. Alright, in this clip, we painted more specific wood grain detail.